blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Welcome back to Moments with Myra, the podcast where we explore stories, wisdom, and practices that help you live your best life, mind, body, and soul. I'm your host, Myra, and today we have an incredible special guest who I absolutely love, Miss Asha Sims. Asha is a licensed mental health therapist, holistic practitioner, chakra coach, yoga teacher, and educator in sensual arts and harmonic Reiki. She does it all, y'all. She combines mind, body, and energy work to help people find balance, healing, and empowerment in their lives. So, we're going to dive into her journey, her practices, and get practical tips on how you can bring that kind of energy into your own lives. Now, before we get started, Asha, I want to give you your flowers. Because
Oh,
years, it's been quite a few years ago because you were on North Davison.
yes, yes.
Me and my friend Weta, our birthdays are a couple of days apart, and I said, well, since your birthday's first, you can choose what we do at the beginning of the month. So she said, okay, we're going to go to Charlotte. So I was thinking, ooh, Charlotte, we're going to get cute and go out and all this kind of stuff. And so as I got closer to time, she said, yeah, we're going to go to yoga. I was like, what the hell?
And
Yoga?
that's not what you was planning for, right?
Not at all. But let me tell you, and this is where giving your flowers and the ladies that was there that night, I was a lot bigger than I am now. So I was pretty close to my biggest size.
Mm-hmm.
So yoga can be a little bit daunting,
Intimidating a
a
little
bigger
bit.
girl.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so when I walked in and I saw everybody in their cute little outfits and stuff, I was like I'm not gonna even lie. I was like, what in the world am I doing here? But there was so much love in that space.
Oh,
There was so much healing. I mean, those women were absolutely phenomenal. So I'm giving my flowers to them, but I want to give my flowers to you as our leader because,
thank
girl,
you. Thank you.
some healing in me was done that night,
Mhm.
not only just from the yoga, but like Kelly. And it was another lady, I can't remember her name, spoke so much life into me and really, really got me fully started on my spiritual journey. And I appreciate y'all so
Yeah.
much.
Because I
And
just look you and Weta, how much I've grown from that, how everybody's grown from that moment
it's
since then and
yeah,
stepping into ourselves. Yes. So
yes, absolutely.
yes.
And I just want to say thank you. And y'all, let me tell you, it doesn't matter what size you are, do what you can do. I remember when I was in class and Asha will walk around and help you kind of get deeper into your poses and stuff. First, I was just happy to be down on the floor and I was thinking about how I was going to get up. I wasn't worried about no poses. But there was one particular pose, and I want to say it might have been the child's pose that I was
Hmm.
in, and you came and you kind of pushed me a little bit deeper into it, and I just couldn't stop crying and all that release. And I was like, I feel so stupid because I'm crying. And you said, no, honey, that's what we want you to do. Get all those trapped emotions and stuff out of
Yes.
you. And I just want to tell you, thank you. And
Thank you.
I just, there are no words that can express the way that sisterhood, that circle, the music, y'all, is the bomb. Just the ambiance, everything is just the bomb. But
Oh,
there's
thank
ways to express how much that's changed my life. And people can always complain about stuff. So I knew that it was going to be an opportunity where we were one on one, where I could really, really convey because that wasn't something that I just wanted to send a message about. I
you.
wanted you to see, and I'm not going to cry, but I wanted you to see firsthand like what a difference your work has done for me. And I'm thankful for Wheeler, even though I was cussing her out when she said,
Right.
oh, but
So you was obedient. Yes.
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 But
Yes.
after I went through the experience, it's just
Mhm.
like a part of my life and just some of the things that you tell us to listen to as far as our body and where we're holding different emotions and stuff. So I just wanted to give you your flowers. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Very
Absolutely.
well received. Thank
So,
you for being a reflection.
oh,
Yes.
thank you. That means a lot to me too. So
Yes.
now that we've got that out of the way, can you tell us about yourself and what led you into such a unique blend of practices?
Wow. Where do I start? Normally, like I tell my clients, but all my friends and close associates know, I give the disclaimer, I'm not the average. I've had to accept that. That's not even an egoic state, but at this point in time, acknowledgement of self, which
Mm-hmm.
often we doubt, that cause a lot of our confusion, that cause a lot of our mental health. But I'm not the average. I'm an out the box person. I like to challenge the norm. I like to know what is the norm. Um, and how do we reestablish a quote norm? That's always been my mindset. From even as a child, I was not the one that if the parents said, don't do that. And like, okay, mom, I'm thinking, why not? Tell me why I can't do it before you tell me I can. That's just how I always thought. So I always say, I'm out the box. I'm going to be over here when everybody is over here. And so it got to a point of really accepting it. So that's who I am. I like to have fun. I like to bring joy. Um, I am now just acknowledging my presence, my energy, those exchanges with people, that I have moments like you're stating. And I always say everybody's extension of me, because my classes is no more than what I like to do in my home. So I always say if I'm having fun by myself, somebody else want to do this too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that's how everything started, with me knowing me, understanding me, and then I generate my activities and services based upon what makes sense to me. And I know there's others may need the same experience, so
Yeah.
let me create it. So I've become a curator of a lot within the wellness, from the clinical to the coaching to events to retreats to training. So is now all the divine that comes into me now is learning how to transmute it, and teaching it to others. It's not even about what I have obtained and know what's the difference if I'm not giving it back out. That's how we grow. So that's kind of who I am. So I always tell people in any situation and environment, whether it's yoga, whether it's therapy, coaching, we're gonna laugh. Y'all gonna be mad at me. Sometimes just like in yoga, people be looking at me like I'm ready to fight her if she keep me in this pose one more time because it's bringing up stuff. So it's like I'm that. I say some people love me, some people ain't gonna like me just because I come with light. And if you ain't ready to be in the light, it can sting a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's the dualities and understanding what my purpose is. So that's kind of that personally. And now I have taken those gifts, and through my businesses of a Shakti Wellness and Yoga, with my clinical and coaching, I have a Shakti Training and Education Institute where a lot of my teaching and trainings, and then I have a Shakti Travels, in which a lot of my retreats are coordinated. So, and a nonprofit, Place of Love and Light. I definitely believe about giving back to the community. And so between those extensions and babies of myself, and then being a mom of a teen, so a menopausal mom with a hormonal teen, because I had him at 41. That was part of my journey of starting yoga. If you ask how I started with stuff, but so it's a very interesting time period of a lot of birthing and accepting and allowance and grace at this time as a menopausal woman, of stepping into that energy of life, not in doom, not in dread, but really like tightening up my crown and accepting I'm an elder now. I'm an
Yes.
elder. It's
Yeah.
that. I'll be that.
And it's a beautiful place to be. And I just appreciate you being obedient to the call, because the one thing that I have learned on my spiritual journey is, honey, being obedient to the call can have you out here looking crazy,
What?
saying all kinds of crazy stuff about you. But I'm very, very thankful that you stood the test of time. And
Mhm.
one thing, guys, that I like about her is what you see is what you get. So the same person that you're seeing now that I'm having a conversation with is the
Mhm.
exact same person that you meet in person.
Yes.
Not, anything where she's just acting like this because we're having this conversation and it's
Yes.
recorded. This is her all the time. And I appreciate that about you
Me
too.
too. Thank
So
you.
now, what made you decide to combine mental health therapy, holistic healing, yoga, and Reiki into your
Me
personal
too.
and professional journey?
Wow, it was so many layers to it, but it all made sense. So I would say even starting back and growing up, my mom was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in middle school, high school. So at that time, my mom's always been one that want to try natural approaches to healing. So she never wanted to take medication. It was the diets changed in the house. We stopped eating red meat, certain things within our diet that I've always been conscious of food and health and healing. I think in a past life or something, I was a doctor because, I love some ER. I love some Grey's Anatomy. When crises occur, I'm there. Like, I really know everything. And after, sometimes I'm like, did I do that? I don't know where that came from. But I've always been curious within the health aspect of things anyhow. So mental health, when I went to college, my path at that time, I went in thinking I was going to be a dentist. And I still wanted to do something in the health field. So originally when I graduated, I think Winston-Salem, Mount Tabor, class of 89. So in that, when I was leaving that, I was going to do something in the health field. I was in the Health Occupations of America over at the Career Center. And so UNC Charlotte was the school I chose. Didn't really have a medical program. So I said, I'm gonna go be a dentist, pre-med biology. Sister almost didn't make it. Dad had to threaten, like, you gonna come back to Winston or you going to the military? I was like, not. So I changed my major at that time to criminal justice.
Okay.
I did an internship and really enjoyed working with the youth. So after school, I started working in juvenile detention centers with youth. Enjoyed that. And then that's when I pursued my master's in counseling because I really wanted to go more in counseling. Okay. I worked in the systems, opened group homes after a while, started my business at the time and had group homes, still working with the dynamics of families. Then after a while, I got to the point I was getting a little burnout because I'm such an empath. I'm such a community person. I was frustrated with the systems. Mm-hmm. My program is running, but it's so much bureaucracy to get the systems going. They don't care about how clinical, how beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's just system and things of that nature that was interceding in my mental health in order to produce what I wanted. And so I got burnout and left that aspect of things. And then at that point in time, I was just really burnt out from helping. At that time within my marriage, it was awakenings that I would say began. And I'm always transparent with my growth and my testimonies. But at that time, it was awakening to realize that I was married to someone that may be dealing with some mental health challenges. Now, as a clinician, it is not my duty. I tell people, I don't want to diagnose y'all, and date. And people like, oh, I'm not trying to diagnose you. That's not, I'm off duty. But I realize as I'm talking about the growth in our professions, our spiritual growth, it's a time when you need to learn how to do both. Because now I realize I need to have my eyes more open on mental health. If I can sit and diagnose people in 2 to 3 sessions, and I done live with you for a period of time, I know what I know and see what I see.
Exactly.
But often I want to, no. So that's what I was dealing with in those dynamics. So at that time of being burnt out from the business, being burnt out from the marriage, is somehow in there. I spent a lot of time myself reading about chakras came into existence. I read about them like, oh, this is deep. It was making more sense what I learned in grad school. I'm like, what? This impacts this. So I'm really getting the books. Anno Dia Judith. I said that's how what started my journey of reading about chakras. Wheels of Life was a book that just made so much sense about the body, the physical aspects, holding on emotions, how to get blocked. So now I'm like, how do you unblock this? Now, mind you, at this time, I'm not doing therapy or nothing. I'm burnt out. So I saw, how do you unblock this? So that's when I saw about Reiki. All right. I'm from Winston-Salem, Presbyterian. We might be the bougie Christian, but Presbyterians, I'm seeing stuff like, witches. This is not me. Just turn my head from, like, no. But it kept drawing me back. Like, this is the only thing that can unblock a shock. I mean, it's other things that can be done with movement, exercise, but the whole thing about the energy aspect and releasing it. So it was later on, still searching. I always say when you seek, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. So I'm Googling again, Reiki teachers in Charlotte. And my Reiki master popped up, Sensei Tracy Green, bless her, I love her, beautiful mentor, changed my life. And sister with locks. And I said, oh, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with her. Had my first energy healing session. I just say it changed my life. When I can say I was going through a time of second guessing myself, because I'm now realizing I'm in an emotionally abusive relationship with gaslighting daily, or mood swings, not knowing when and where. The whole thing of self-identity was starting to just be overwhelming, gaining weight, not realizing how my body was handling stress. So the Reiki helped to ground me. I felt like all of a sudden I was locked in. At that time, I felt spirit talk to me. I could hear it. And I remember hearing all the messages of what I need to do, because I'm debating, do I leave? When do you stay? When do you leave? Death do us part, and vice versa. A lot of that questioning of myself, but I heard clearly what I needed to do. And I did it. It shifted things. It was chaotic at that time, but it was what was needed. And I'm always thankful to energy work. So that started a journey now, learning how to do it. I said, hey, attune me. What's next? I want to know how to do this. I want to do this for my mother, for her MS. So I did all that for myself, for healing, and for family. So during that process, I'm thankful for energy work through that whole divorce, because it got crazy. When you put boundaries up and disconnect from a person with a narcissistic tendencies, it's a battle. It doesn't have to be, but that's how I knew where healing was, to deal with that battle. So that experience had helped me out through that process, the energy work, and just doing it for family members. From there, my brothers, bringing their girlfriends over to get Reiki, when I'm like, no, I need to lay hands on y'all. But it was just seeing how through parent surgeries and the recovery rate from having energy healing, loving it. And it just grew into seeing others benefit from. My grandmother at that time had Alzheimer's, and going to see her, and I just laid my hands, and it just awakened her. She's in her wheelchair dancing. Next thing you know, at the nursing facility, the other people in there, baby, come do that to me. Come. And so I'm just sitting there laying hands on people, and I'm sharing the healing energy. So that's been beautiful. And just from that whole experience, that's what started. In between there, I've had different things, from personal experiences, from going through the divorce, after the divorce, the divorce is very traumatic in that. Meeting my son's father after divorce, at this time, single, ready to mingle, thinking I'm going to be a cool guy. I'm going to get a young one. And cat daddy got me, 15 years older, became a mother right after, a month after my divorce. I conceived. It was like divine timing. And that man was just such a beautiful soul. But in the process of the pregnancy, at 41 awakening, I was happy that I had a partner, somebody that got me. And he had a heart attack at 5 months pregnancy. It passed in front of me while I'm doing Reiki. The only thing I remember hearing, that Reiki I'm not doing no magic, no work, and trying to bring people back to life. But I remember in my teachings hearing that it can give peace at times of transition. So where a traumatic event could have been more traumatic, the aspect of energy work, and knowing that I was the last face he saw as I am breathing with him as he takes his last breath and doing Reiki, that really was my initiation to, as I say now, maybe being a death doula.
Yeah.
My relationship with death and understanding what's about to take place, assisting people at that time in that transition of awareness, I think helped me to be in position for others at that time. Because I was one, I don't do funerals, I ain't going to funerals, death is just totally avoided. But now I think it can be such a beautiful path, just like birthing. Why do we make it so we all know we're going to die one day? Why are we acting like this? That's one thing that's certain, that we be wanting certainty. So that connection to what it is or what's afterwards is what keeps people. So energy work has helped me to expand that. It's helped me to help people have a better sense of self and hear how we operate in the other realm. So because of that, my son's father is always with me. It helped me. I heard, you got to be strong for our son now. And all fear and anxiety went away. And I've been holding space with that offspring that look exactly like his daddy.
I mean,
it's a reminder every day, but just all those experiences and how Reiki, even from my birth, I'm going in doing Reiki on myself. They didn't even think that I was having contractions. I'm doing Reiki, ear acupuncture on myself. I'm holistic, honey. I am dealing breath work. And they didn't think they was going to send me home. And then they hooked me up and realized what my contractions were. And I just told them I'm doing energy work. I still work on me, hook me up, take me back. Now I'm trying to maintain this sanity. But it was just beautiful. So it's been a part of my life. That's what I say. It's been a part of my life. And then I incorporated it back in with the clinical when another colleague of mine asked me to speak at a work training.
Okay.
And I was like, what? At that time, I was doing domestic violence. She said, no, holistic health and mental health. I'm like, you want me to talk to a room full of Black people that already think I'm woo-woo and all this? I'm like, okay, if that's what you say, then I'll do it. And it was supposed to be a breakout session. And later she hit me up 2 weeks and said, guess how many people are in your session? So I said, 33. That's my number. I'm thinking it's large because it's supposed to be like 17, 18. And she said, well, it's 230 something participants and 216 have signed up for your session. So we're moving you to the big room. And that's when I realized clinicians are ready for a new way, not only for the work, for them.
Yeah.
Because we can get burnt out in this work. So I went back into practice at that time. And I said, if I'm going to go back as a therapist, I'm going to go back including the yoga. I'm going to go back including the energy work because that's what helped me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I healed. That's when I looked in that mirror and didn't understand when did I hit 200 pounds? What?
Mm-hmm.
When? I was disassociated. I was disconnected. That is, I know what it's like being a high functioning professional female out here grinding and not connected to the physical essence of yourself until health issues hit.
Yeah.
I was that poster child. So that's why I say my work, what you see is the work. It's not anything. I promote who I am. Sometimes people say, why you ain't doing yoga? Because I ain't doing it. And I'm not going to be a false teacher that if I'm not applying it to my life, I'm not going to teach it. Now, when you see me teaching yoga again, you're going to know, oh,
she always.
But that's just me because I'm not going to get up there in front and try to teach y'all and pull some muscles, trying to be cute and teachers because everybody wants yoga and I'm not doing it. So all these things, when people say you're light, you're this, and I'm in gratitude for it. And I always say is being thankful, being connected, and understand that sense of self, that energy work. And people say energy work and the religious. Okay, if you don't want to say, if that's too woo-woo, then I'm going to say spirit, energy, spirit, however you want to put it, tomato. I'm not trying to argue, but you can't say it's not a higher source that flows through us, however you label it. Now, I'm a God-fearing, and with that God source, through the teachings of Reiki, I am implementing hands-on techniques of laying hands and sharing energy that come from source. There's no more explanation to people, no more trying to explain, no more trying to justify what I do. Either you get it or you don't. So I work with those who are ready to get it and understand the language that I'm speaking. And so I take it, and then it's time to go to the next level. Healing has to be different. Those theories I learned in grad school from doggone 1900s, baby, we ain't them people no more. We are expanding. We are galactic. We're on a whole nother dimension at this point in time that requires different calibrations, which requires us reprogramming the genetic imprints of trauma through lineages and accept and forgive and release so we can step into new beings. That's not something that was taught back then because it wasn't done. They're not in the now. So I have to bring innovative things to the beings that are operating in this frequency now. And so that's how it all just came into one. It was no more, can I do this in therapy? What I say, I'm going to do it until you say I can't. And when I see the American Psychological Association posting things about energy healing and Reiki, oh, y'all doing your research. Well, guess who's going to do it? So, of course, there's not many of my complexion stepping into that. So I wanted to be a face. I want women to know of all sizes and shapes. You can do yoga. That is no excuse. Now I understand you might not, if you blessed up here, you might not can put your feet over your head without feeling like you're about to suffocate. You may not can lay flat because you got some booty and you got a sway in your back. I understand that. So when I teach, I understand the body of that aspect to know how to get you into position. So you're not, I ain't doing yoga. I can't do all them poses and think it's another culture's. That's what they do. We don't do that. BS. We need to. And that's why I did it at 41, being pregnant. people want to say, oh, you think you're going to blow up? I was like, bullshit. I'm doing something. I ain't running, but I did yoga. And that's how I got more connected to my body. And so that's just my path in summary. I've done what I teach and implement is how I live. And whatever I create, any event, it's an extension of me. I'm in my house thinking, doing it like, ooh, this playlist would be fly at a yoga class and da da da. So then I'm like, well, let me create it. So you're really experiencing my world, and I'm sharing what I like and knowing that somebody else may want to do it. And that's how it spreads. It's not about the money, but I am learning as a healer, we do need to put prices or really recognize our value in that. And so that's, if you was to ask me what my biggest lesson is knowing my value, not minimizing what I offer in prices and services, because I know people need it, but they don't want to pay for it. Well, that means they won't be continuing clients because they don't want to invest in themselves. Because if you can pay $100 for some eyelashes, if you want to get rid of some of this grief, this trauma, this weight, but don't want to, if you want to put the mask on to release it instead of doing the work, that's a choice. Like I said, I just work with those who are choosing to go within to grow. And it ain't always pretty.
Well, like I said, honey, you don't have to convince me of nothing because I know firsthand. And I wanted to go back to your point where you were talking about witches, us being witches and all that stuff. I tell people, okay, I'll accept that title if it means me feeling as good as I feel, releasing all that trauma and being able to see my worth and live the life that I'm living. I'll be that witch, and that's perfectly fine.
I said I've been called worse. So you gonna call me something either way. My thing is, I have to do what I'm not even resonating to the word, the title. That's you. That's what you call me. Oh, I'm not here to prove you wrong of a word that can have a different terminology from a person's perception.
That's right.
So it's like, I just know what I do, and I know the response and the impact. So, that's what you think I am? That's your perception. That's what I'm saying. That's your perception. What do you want me to do, to prove you wrong? I ain't here to prove nothing to you. And that's part of that menopause, that effort. Now I'm like, back in the day, I'm like, why? Why would they not understand? Now I'm like, okay. That's my word. Oh, okay. And everybody know when I say, oh, okay, that really, I'm just not battling with it. I'm making a choice. And I'm not here to change people's perceptions. So I just always say, do your studying. You want to say this, what is a spell? What you doing every Sunday in church? Just because it's not in these four walls, it's just like people, that comes from having an open mind. I would say Reiki helped me to expand. I'm not gonna lie, I came from an environment where my dad was active with the Black Panthers in Charlotte. So I came from a very radical aspect of things, black and white, and anything outside that, it was different imprints. So even having that one love and understanding, after I got attuned to Reiki, I got that book, The 7 Religion for Dummies, because I really wanted to go back and understand each concept of each one. If I'm going to be working with people on a higher level, and that's why I can say energy work, release me from certain paradigms that I was keeping. It was like having this tunnel over my head. So once I could pop it and realize all these make sense. All these one love at different times, they're different religions correlate to each chakra. Why? Because everything has stages of development. Nothing stays the same.
Yes.
Nothing. Somebody has to reinvent the wheel to expand with the time. We can't stay the same. So we can't take all these teachings from then and there. They didn't deal with the stuff that we deal with. Somebody has to take in the role to be the messenger for the people. And often, as somebody told me, sometimes the healer is sometimes the one most hated. Look at the path Jesus walked. He was minding his business, wanting to help and heal people. Then you want to persecute him. And then the story is he still forgives you. So if the walking of the monks, practice and being in peace, and you still got people, it's not peace within us. So regardless, any religion that you can attach to, if you don't have that peace within, can cause imbalances.
That's right.
So sometimes you got to know outside the religion What
Mhm.
is outside of that? Who are you outside of that? Because the religion is another like cape while you're in the house to wear to keep cool or take it off. But if
Mhm.
you don't know the original structure, so many don't study what they learn, they just take it. So that's my thing. Anything I teach, don't just listen to me. Go research. You got
Mhm.
YouTube now, you ain't got to read a book. You got doggone Chat GPT can tell you what you need to know. So there's no reason not to know at this time. Ignorance is a choice.
That part. You need to make that into a T-shirt
So
for
ignorance is a
real.
choice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, for someone that's watching us who may not know anything about chakras or they're hearing about them for the first time, can you explain what chakras are?
Yes. So this is how I break it down to my clients to keep it simple because I can talk all day about energy centers. So the best way I'd explain is the same concept as a computer with a hard drive system. So the chakras, there are more than over 100 chakras. Most of the time, people generally keep it with the 7 primary chakras that kind of align our
Mhm.
body system. So we have energy centers that align our spine that are responsible for certain things to generate energy to become one in the universe. So the chakras, your hard drive is like your chakras. So we interact with the world through our senses. That's the only way our inner energy centers can be activated. Sight, smell, touch, taste, all of those centers is how we take in information. So that's basically like typing on a keyboard. Somebody's
Mhm.
coming in from the outside, typing something into the keyboard. Then your processor processes what you're typing and then put it back out on the screen. So we taking in information through our senses into our internal hard drive. Now, depending on how your chakras, if they operate, they've had some traumas, some imbalances, just like your computer can be a little slow and you type and it seems like it's taking forever for it to come up or it's freezing. It's kind of like the same thing with our bodies, with our energy centers. If there's blockages, yeah, things gonna get a little sluggish and then as energy slows up, it impacts the physical. So then it can impact or have a correspondence to physical issues in that energy center. So basically, you want to get your hard drive cleaned up. Unblocking your chakras and releasing that is like going to get your hard drive rebooted, cleaned up. So when you type, it's processing, it's putting it out quick. Because how we process and take in and how we exhibit through behaviors that we do,
Mhm.
that's where accountability. Because often we want to say, they made me feel this way. Stop giving up your power. This work is about going inward, being in yourself, taking accountability. Because otherwise, you're going to be in the same cycle if you always think it's other people. It's a victim mentality. So
Mhm.
that to me, working through the chakras help you to get an understanding of yourself from the roof up. As a therapist, I don't start at the top with coming in, oh, it's depression, anxiety, personality, whatever. Uh, I mean, I care about it, but that ain't the issue. I got to start at the root. Do you feel safe? Do you even feel safe in your body?
Mhm.
Before we talk about what's going on, that's there. At this point in time, ain't nothing changing. I don't have no one that can give you more money. I can give you a new job. So as long as you're in that environment, it's always going to be static. So at the end of the day, before we can process this, are you here? So often I ask my clients, how you feel? And they'll give me an answer. Then I say, how your body feeling? Because often people, if you're dealing with chronic pain, I'm good. I'm fine today. The whole time your knee is aching. So
Yeah.
you really just discounted that part of your body, but people don't want to feel like they're complaining. So what you push it away and keep pushing. And that's where disassociation in the body comes. So now you're mad at the knee, but the knee is like, damn it, I've been trying to tell you, you're not being flexible. And I'm trying to hang on. I give out and buckle. You still not listening. So when it gives out, you mad at your knee, my doggone knee. And your knee is like, shoot, I've been trying to tell you, but you ain't listening. And if we think about it, we probably the same way in life. People try to tell us stuff, but we ain't listening. So
Yep.
I always say, you and your body go together. Y'all talk. But back in the day, we say y'all talking. That's what I tell people. Y'all need you and your body need to make up. So I start out initially just dealing with the body. Do you feel safe? And do people feel emotionally safe? Because often people can say, yeah, I have food, clothing, and shelter. But did you feel emotionally safe? And
Mhm.
that's where that gap is. So half our actions that we display now is coming from early on imprints that we still looking at stuff through the eyes of children. So I do a lot of inner child work because you still mad at this person, something that happened at 13. Let me tell you, I done had so many daughters not talk to their daddies because their mama couldn't stand them and talk that junk. And then to find out about 30 that your mom was just mad because you was the side chick and didn't get that number one position. So now he a dog and you don't went 30 years not liking your daddy. Now I realize your parents got some stuff with them too. But just like we do. So at that time, how long you gonna hold on to something, a decision they made at 20 and they 65 and you still mad and said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like that inner child, if you still look at everything through age 6, you're gonna have them same conflicts and then you probably gonna act the same way, having temper tantrums. That's why I ask my clients, how are you acting when this happened? And they said, what happened? You know, but tell me. And they were showing out. I said, temper tantrum. That's what you call a grown woman, temper tantrum, because you don't know how to say, I feel this way when you do this, and it makes me, it's just like, and they looking at you, and then when they respond like you a child, and then they gonna talk to me like I'm a child.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of healing requires a lot of inner work, inner child work, and shadow work. That's what I'm saying. The other side is beautiful, but it's working when you really doing the work. And a lot of people rather be numb. And that's why we're seeing sometimes more mental health, because people may not want to address it. And it's going to take over. If you gifted, you feel and see things and you're not tapping into that, I believe it could be diagnosed as schizophrenia eventually. You know, we have gifts. And if you grew up in past generations, didn't know how to support that. So even if you were one as a child, like, oh, grandma gonna pass. I heard the bells ringing, the angels. Don't you tell nobody that. So now you've been feeling this all your life and be getting anxiety because you be hearing damn bells because you can't tell nobody.
Yeah.
So just knowing that if that gift was nurtured, you know, now you thinking you got anxiety and you got all this just because you was not allowing source in your gift to be exhibited in the way that you were genetically made up to receive it. So that's why I said in that healing, we got to look at mind, body, and spirit. You can't just do mental health. I can't just do traditional therapy. Even if I'm working with the body and I'm working with people like I'm upset my weight, half the time you carrying stuff from childhood.
Yeah.
You got layers and layers and layers. And when working with people with weight, I said, as a child, were you heavy? And they were like, I had the nickname Thickums and all of that. But when I went back and looked at pictures, they were like, I wasn't big. You'll be amazed how people project on you.
Yep. You're
wearing coats that people projected on you. And at this time, it's like, take that damn coat off. Who told you to keep it on? And that's when people are like, well, I've had it since a child. And you walking around tight. So my thing is, I tell people through this word, I need you walking through the streets like Eric Badu, butt naked, all transparent, you know, be open. You can't care what people think, because if you got the coats on, they're gonna talk about you with the coat on. If you're butt naked, they're gonna talk about you with your butt naked. So doggone it, which feels most comfortable for you, the coat or butt naked? Choices.
Period.
And that's how we have to live. You'll be a lot happier. This autoimmune, all this rheumatoid arthritis, all the lupus, all these trapped emotions that is shutting our nervous system out, particularly women of color.
Yep.
So it's time, but I feel many are here. They're wanting to do the work. When I can say the clients that come to me, they're like, I'm ready. They might say, I've been in therapy before, but I know it's a little deeper.
It's something different.
It's something deeper. And so that's why I feel this approach is needed. And I'm excited now when I go to work. It's not like, oh, I got to see these clients today. Now I'm like, ooh, actually they be getting mad at me because they be going through stuff in drama. And I'm seeing the big pictures and like, yes, that was supposed to happen. I'm like, what that happened? I'm clapping my hands. They're like, didn't I just tell you this some bullshit? And I'm clapping because I'm like, yes, this makes sense. This is going to happen. So this can happen. So I just like holding space when things seem like it's falling apart for people to help them understand it's all falling together. The more pain you experience, and really is the more gain and glory you about to get. So I don't want to applaud the pain, but I'm like, I'm glad you feeling it, because in order to heal, you got to feel it. So you don't go back to it. And most people are afraid of falling off. And I'm like, what's the worst of the worst? What can be no worse than what you feeling now?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think too, it's just a matter of us being comfortable. We
Mhm.
get comfortable with the pain. We love the pain.
Mhm.
We say we don't want the
We've
pain.
learned to manage it, so we
Yeah,
feel we've accomplished something in managing it.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
We've
now
been
you also teach yoga and education in sensual arts and harmonic Reiki. How do these practices complement mental and emotional healing? And I know we talked about the yoga. I'm talking about maybe like the sensual arts part of it and the
okay. So,
Reiki.
and actually, it's not harmonic Reiki; it's shamanic Reiki.
Shamanic. Okay.
So, the incorporation of those, and even the sensual arts. So, even going back to the healing part and working with the energy centers. Even when I'm working with women, I'm getting to the sacral chakra and asking them about flowing. Are they do they have to be in control? What is their mindset? Are they have a fear and you got to be in control? And often I ask, well, how is intimacy? How are your orgasms? And that's when they look at me like, why is she asking me this in therapy? But I'm like, you got control issues. I said, you probably not. And they're looking, they still, how long it takes them to answer, I already know what's going on. Because if you were, you're like, child, that is no issue, da da da. But when you're like, huh, what? Then I kind of know. But in that, it's like helping them to understand control. If you're not present, going back, if you're not in your body, you have issues with your body during intimacy, you may physically be there, but mentally you're checked out, whether it's past traumas, you don't like it in the dark because it takes you back here, but you're not knowing how to communicate this. So you're there or doing the duty because this is what I'm supposed to do as a wife or girlfriend, but you're not even in your body enjoying it, and even to understand, again, this chakra work and energy work is about your senses. So even intimacy comes from the 5 senses. Sex is not just about intercourse. Can you be aroused through sight, taste, smell? You got to live life orgasmically, period. It doesn't mean sexually. So the sensual arts helps people, it ties in to sensuality is just being sensual, like, this. I got friends that got food orgasms. They love food. When they eat, and they be getting on my nerves because they be like, like, can you take that elsewhere? But they're just enjoying the taste. They're mindfully eating of the taste of certain smells, and it do something. It should be when we go outside and that sun shines on it, we should be like, that feels good. If we're present in our bodies, those are the experiences, so that when it comes to actual sex, it's intensified because you don't actually have to have intercourse to have an orgasm.
True.
But that's what we've been taught. So within the traumas and how many of us grown up don't have sex until you get married. When ain't nobody around is doing that, and everybody huckabucking, and even in the church you're hearing this and hearing that, but the mixed signals, or you're going to hell if you do. So any of us that did before marriage, now we worried about, are we going to hell? Where's the pleasure? It comes with shame. And then that can manifest into not having kids or ongoing yeast infection, because you're holding all that guilt and shame into a place, which is going to impact, or it can cause you to be hypersexual or just no libido. I don't even want to think about sex. But sex energy is the closest thing to God energy. We're born through a portal at the time of an orgasm. So why are we not worshiping and putting that a place of priority? We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that orgasm, when the two came together and light combusted, and now you're a miraculous being. And we don't get that honor, but use it as control. Because that's what I learned. Whatever is the most powerful is what they tell us we shouldn't do. So now my research, anything you done told me I shouldn't do, I'm going to do my research because I need to know why now. And now that I see why, like, oh, this what go down on the other side of understanding sexual energy. Things if I would have known early on. Child, y'all think y'all see a woman of power now. If I would have known the power of the P when it started, I would have been taught at a young age, having initiation at 13 of coming into womanhood, a different journey. So that's what the sensual arts, I feel like I have to talk that and understand, because orgasms are healthy. Sex drive is important. I don't like hearing women say at 50, I don't have no sex drive. I don't think about it. That means your life force energy is low. Your chi is low, because you still should be 80 if you healthy, still wanting to have sex. We begin to accept it like, oh, I guess I just can't. So I'm just, BS. You can still have pleasure. It should not have to do with the relationship. Again, you and your body go together. Y'all going together because y'all still can be talking and touching. And sometimes we just need touch.
Mm-hmm.
Do we touch ourselves? Sensuality is, do you lotion yourself up all around, or do you just do your hands and your elbows where it's going to be seen and done?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So sensuality starts here. So I always tell people, if you want to be rubbed on, if you want your partner to do this, do you do it? Because if you get out the tub and start doing this and stuff, they're going to be looking like,
hold on now.
Can I do it? Can I try it? You got to start with self, within yourself. So that's the sensuality. Then the shamanic aspect is, it goes deeper with shamanic healing. It's because now you're dealing with ancestral. You're going into different realms to help people. Like soul retrieval is helping them to go find that piece of their soul they lost in their traumas. So it requires a certain discipline, deeper than empath work, to go into another realm to help them piece the ego deaths, the dark night of the souls, to reattach. So it's like Reiki times 10. I always say Reiki is just channeling the energy. Shamanic work is going into a realm and using other spirit guides, other ancestors, or even the energy of the elements to do the healing. Some people are doing the energy work. Once you're in there, it's a lot of fire going in that solar plexus, that you calling upon the element of water to allow things to smooth out. And so that's when I may visualize water flowing. So sometimes people are like, all of a sudden, I just felt cool. I just felt like water and floating. So I was using the water energy to help take the fire out that was overbalanced. And so that's what the shamanic work is, using the different elements, using different guides or their ancestors or my spirit guides to assist in that, or reconnecting past life things that are stuck. At this time, many of us, everything's integrating into one. We're experiencing things, even from ancestor work. Sometimes some of the stuff we're feeling, it ain't really ours, it's an ancestor. It's just kind of like, I know I need to be doing this, but why do I feel scared? I shouldn't be scared. And there's no reason to feel scared. Sometimes you got to step back. Now I tell people, you got to ask for the most benevolent ancestor to assist you in their journey right now. Because you might have gotten to a next level or something. And this ancestor now is keeping you back because they wanted to do, they're trying to talk. No, that ain't back in the 20s when this happened. I don't need to be suspicious of this now because you was suspicious of this. Thank you for getting me to this point. Now I need the next that's going to take me. So sometimes we have, since we're doing ancestor work, many of us now calling in ancestors more than the blue-eyed Jesus.
Yes.
So this thing's awakening in our blood. Our bloodline. So what? We've been ready. Yeah. So it's like we have to be aware of that, who we are and what has come down. So that lineage work of helping in therapy, now I'm helping the clients to have to clear that ancestral trauma, because they're like now seeing it now. Why I keep doing this? Why such and such? Your mama did it. Your mama's mama did it. The healing is now that you recognize it's a generational thing. You may feel overwhelmed, like, how am I going to change generational stuff? Just by recognizing it and saying no more. You have spoken into existence of what I see this and I release this. And that's how we can change health issues. If everybody died from high blood pressure, and then you look at all those and what their energy was like. When my mama told me, my grandfather was a business owner in Winston and he died, I realized I'm the age when my granddaddy died, who was a business owner, and my son's father died at 54. So I'm that age, and now I realize how I go as a business owner. I have to stop because I know the history of my family and realize my granddad as a businessman ran himself in the ground. Yeah. So now, because I understand that, I can heal that and find balance to continue this journey as entrepreneurship from my lineage in a healthy way. But you got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
Because why, even with business, and it's a whole nother topic. Oh, if you ain't right up here and everything, it's going to affect your money.
And that's real.
If you don't know the value of self, how you going to attract value? You always going to be working minimum wage because you don't think you worth more. That's why I tell people, you go to jobs and they ask you, well, how much you want to make? You might have been making $12 and then you just say, 13, think you talking bigger. And they may have had a budget to give up to 25. But if you say 13, you think they're going to say, well, I was gonna give you 25. They go like, oh, just 13. Then they
No
realize
problem.
what extra can go to them in another space. And then later on, when you hear a colleague say, well, I'm getting paid 18, I'm getting paid 13, and I'm doing all of this.
Yeah.
You spoke your value. You might have missed out because you thought it was minimal. So it's like if you don't know your value, it's gonna leave you more susceptible to be manipulated
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna look at it and realize what they can capitalize on. It ain't them taking advantage of you, you just didn't see your own value. So once you know, you do better. It's gonna change everything. It's gonna change the jobs you work, it's gonna change the people you date, or it may change the relationships you in already. Once you have self, you're gonna be looking at people like, and why did I like you?
Uh-huh.
And or it's gonna be people you didn't like and couldn't stand it, like, I fool with them now because they could have been a shadow for you. They might have been yours. That's why you didn't like them, because they doing what you were supposed to be doing, and you mad that they doing it. So I don't like that, I can't stand it. And then when you realize, oh, they were in their truth and you heal, I like what they stand for. And now these over here getting on your nerves.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Shift and change and growth. I always say, don't put judgment on nothing, just allow. Release and non-attachment. That's my biggest thing I can tell people. Live in non-attachment. Be thankful every day. Speak your peace.
I didn't get the job, but that needs to be another T-shirt. Don't put judgment on. That needs to be another T-shirt.
That's it, man.
So now, if there's someone that feels stuck in their healing journey,
Mhm.
what's the first step that you recommend for them to get started? Something simple and easy, because like we said, shadow work and all of that stuff is not for the faint of heart. So something just kind of ease them into their journey.
I always say the energy work. That was my step into it. If nothing else, it just grounds you, relax you enough to be an open vessel to receive.
Mm.
And not an anxiety state. So I always like it because I'm not doing the work. When I do energy work, I'm just the vessel. So I'm gonna let spirit work with you, and I'm the vessel till you're grounded enough to go deep and go within. So I always say start with energy healing. And then once you're grounded in self, if you need whether coaching or therapy, the difference between the two, coaching is more dealing with here in the now. Like you say, why I can't just get this job, or I can't figure this out, I feel blocked here. Then that's when I do the coaching, and the same concept I do coaching, chakra coaching, and to analyze where are you blocked. Is it root chakra? Do you not feel safe? It could be the same thing with business coaching. If you don't feel safe and insecure, just say, why are you starting a business? Don't start no business off scared money and scared mindset. So we got to start with, where do you not feel safe? What do you need to feel safe to start your business? So everything to me goes from the chakra centers up, each chakra, root chakra. I got a right to feel safe. Sacral, I got a right to my emotions. Solar, confidence. The heart, I'm love. I'm open to love and receiving. I can speak my truth. I know myself, and then you're connected with self. So I think all aspects of anything in life, if you go through those steps, is going to help you. So, and then therapy is to work from the past of traumas that impact you in the present that you can't move past from. So I always tell that's the difference between therapy and coaching. And from those, like I said, then I always do retreats to come together, because I feel like if you're going to heal, we need to have fun.
Yes.
So I like doing retreats with Puerto Rico, different places that we can go and have that support. We're going to cry, we're going to laugh, we're going to have fun. And to me, healing doesn't always have to be sad and tears. It can be laughter and joy, or even more, you're deserving of it. Sacred chakra, you're worthy. If you do that work, you're worthy of having fun. And that's something in our culture we have to release, because if it ain't right, if our money ain't right, we don't think we should have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so it blocks anything else from occurring at that time. So that's why I would say start with the energy work. That's the bottom line layer, before anything. And then that will allow you to know what you want to go into.
Which direction. So what's the most empowering lesson you want listeners to take away from the work that you do?
Of seeing my clients reconnect with self. They go back together. That it's like seeing clients that come in that by the time we're working on their throat chakra and speak, I'm seeing the shift. They talk and jump. They putting boundaries up. They changing this, or they may have started jobs, or when crises occur, they grounded. They understand themselves. They see themselves. They know they have a right to be here and take up space, because that's part of the exercise. I say, learn to take up space. When you come in the room, you think people are always looking at you, except that they always looking at you.
Mhm.
But I feel bad because they looking. Come in and get eye contact with each one that is looking at you. Know who's looking.
Yeah,
Because predators don't fool with nobody that see them.
that's right.
So it's
That-
like, know yourself, feel your emotions. You got a right. You got a right to take action. So all of that is where I say activate those energy centers. And that's what I like to see in my clients. So by the time in our therapy sessions, we we ain't talking about nothing. By then it's like, how the kids, how the babies. Yeah, I did that. All the traumas we done process, and that they're able to integrate in life and trust who they are. If they different, now they realize I'm different and I'm good with being different. And that's the joy of those moments of people finding themselves, just like you sharing that experience, with yoga, because I just have to recognize what I do and always say it's not just me. People always say, girl, your yoga was like church. And I'm like, what am I doing different than everybody else? I was trying to figure out. I stopped figuring out and just realized I'm different. I'm not the average. So, and I
Also,
love living in it.
I want to say you really, really, when you're in your presence, you really, really feel the love. You really, really feel the sisterhood. You really, really feel the caring. I mean, and I think the most beautiful thing is it's genuine, because now being a spiritual baddie or whatever you want to call it is so popular.
It
But
is. And now we're like, come with work, honey.
yeah, when you're being
Careful
dragged
what you
down
ask for.
and that part.
Yeah.
And so,
Don't let that social media get you caught up, because when you start working in different realms, energies, and entities, baby, you don't know what portals you open up just being a fad. I've had a lot that I have to help them repatch some shit up, some spiritual shit. I'm like, you about to mess up. You don't know what you're dealing with. So it is taking that serious. But like I tell people, instead of worrying about how to do the work and what you're doing, do the work on self.
yes.
That's where, if anybody say, how do I do that? How can I do that? What are you doing for you before you worry about doing for others? And that's often the imbalance. As healers, I had to learn to do for me as I do for others, so I don't get burnt out, because I will overextend for everybody else. And then
Yes,
when I'm on low, can't nobody refill my fuel tank.
exactly. And you coming up short.
And I done filled up their gas tank, and they ain't even got gas to come get me now. So now I got to have gas reserve. If I'm getting low, I can't help until my gas can is at this. If you go into reserve, you can't get no help, because I know now when the yellow light come on. That's what this work has done for me, to know when my gas light is about to come out. When that right knee, I know when I am I'm going to say 7 pounds over my weight that is comfortable for my body. My right knee tells me when I'm going up the steps. And as soon as I drop the weight, no pain. Oh, me and my body go together now. We real tight.
And I love it here. I do. I love it here. So, Asha, where can listeners connect with you online, book sessions, or learn more about your offerings?
You can contact me. You can go through my website at www.ashakti Wellness, ASHAKTI Wellness.com. I am on social media, Facebook and Instagram through Ashakti Wellness, or you can find me as the Chakra Therapist on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, as well as TikTok as well. So between that, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, my services are also virtual as well as in person. And at my location, the Zenchi Lounge, where I do a lot of my work, but it's also a community lounge for wellness and women. So we have different events there that we host, whether it's yoga, paint and sip nights. We got some good stuff coming up got the Jill Scott paint and sip night, shibari rope tying for those that's into that little kink life, as how to tie up in the art form of being tied up. So some real nice, interesting things coming up for February of healing and awareness on all aspects. So, and that's the Zenchi Lounge. If you ever want to find out, that's the www.thezenchilounge.com. So
And also, too, if you guys have any problems with trying to find Asha, you can always reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to connect you. Asha, thank you so much for sharing your
thank you.
journey, your wisdom, all of the tools to help us turn into our energy and ourselves. To everyone listening, I hope you take a moment today to check in with your mind, body, and spirit. And remember, small steps can create big shifts. You can connect with Asha on Facebook. She's Asha Sims on Facebook, the Chakra Therapist. Visit her website or join her workshops, her sessions to continue your journey. So many ways to get connected. And when I tell y'all, if you ever are in our area, North Carolina, Charlotte area, and she has a yoga class,
Come
please
on, come on.
take the class because it's life changing. You know, I can't talk enough about it. And I know We'd probably get tired of hearing me talk about it.
She dragged you to it. She started it.
Yes, but it was really, really a life changing thing for me. And it's something that when you find something that is that life changing, you want everybody to feel that same
Yes,
way.
yes.
So
It's like a natural high. It feels
yes,
so good.
it
Yes,
really, really is. And if you don't want to go by yourself, I'll go with you. Like it's just
yes.
really that good. So I appreciate you guys being here
All
with
right.
us with Myra. Until next time, take care of yourself, honor your energy, and keep shining your light.
No. Back it up. Go, 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 go. That's enough. Please look the other way now. I got nothing to say now. Don't get it. It's simple arithmetic. 1 and 1 equals love's idiots. I can't get caught up, but I think my IQ just fell off a few. All because of no thank you. Boy, I'ma have to pass, cause I can't repeat this class like I had to do the last time. Yeah, it's all good. Please stop talking to me. I acting so you should try. I just really wanna take your word and try another time. Then I remember how the ending hurts and takes over the mind. No. Back it up. Go, 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 go. That's enough. Please look the other way now. I got nothing to say now. You don't get it. You're really still missing it. I can't keep on being love's idiot. Won't get caught up, but I think my IQ slid to 32. All because of you. The brain, it goes insane cause it keeps doing the same things. Expecting new results just cause he's a new name. But there's a disconnect cause he's really the same. It's all a game. Now I gotta take extreme measures. Just back up. Cause I'm really getting better. Spotting kinda fast. But you seem different. Stop staring in my eyes. And notice how you think you're gonna try and change my mind. No. Back it up. Go, 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 go. That's enough. Please look the other way now. I got nothing to say now. You don't get it. You're really not quitting yet. Look, you on your own, bruh. And clearly love's idiot. Gon' get caught up. But I feel my IQ dropping down to 2. All because of you. You think I'm falling for them silly looks you gave me? Yo, who I'm kidding? Only Jesus now can save me. Lord. Pass me the main line quick. Put me straight through the dag. Because I'm finna snitch. I need my senses back. Somehow they disappear. Every time you show your face. Witness protection brain. Missing without a trace. You tryna take me down. I'm tryna build my case. But is there law and order? Or have we passed that place? Now it's a shame. My heart cool, they tie my brain. The logic center's been shut down and the cycle stays the same. You see me trying to change, $1 short from range. I'ma have to go the other way so I can avoid danger. Things could be stranger, could give you my heart. Then you see my mind deteriorate when love begins to start. I get googly-eyed and blah, blah, blah. Singing songs that's out my range with many la, la, la. No, 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 no. Back it up. Go, 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 go. That's enough. Please look the other way now. I got nothing to say now. Stick with it, you're still not getting it. Nope, won't get me to be love's idiot. I won't get caught up, but I feel my IQ dropping down to 2.